Now, face the mighty bison.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're here again talking about Marvel Tokon. Now I want to give a couple of updates on things that we talked about prior, most notably Maximilian. I previously reported that he uninstalled the PC version of the game, which he did.
I've pretty much come to the conclusion I have to probably abandon the PC version. I think I'm going to be playing, the next time we stream, I'm going to exclusively be playing the PlayStation 5 version. That's it. Let me uninstall this so I make sure I do not play it again, because it's not worth it.
He was very disappointed, just like a lot of other people. Some people were getting refunds, some people were uninstalling, he uninstalled, and some people were just switching to the PC version. That video got really big, 142,000 views, bigger than that video was ever supposed to get. But I think this just shows how many people are, one, invested in Tokon, two, love Maximillian, and three, are also upset by PC. Now, in that video, I tried to give the most detailed breakdown of everything that I could, talking about the lead up to Tokon, what Tokon was going through, and then Maximilian kind of like uninstalling, so everyone can have full context. But I don't think people watched the full extent of that video, and people started to walk away with the misunderstanding that he just uninstalled the game, period, and that he was leaving. And I tried to make it very clear that he, yes, uninstalled the PC version and was very unsatisfied with that, but he continued playing on PlayStation. And I'll go ahead and read the tweet that I read in that previous video so you guys can see what he said after he uninstalled on PC. We have another tweet here that I'll talk about in just a second, but looking at this one, he says, try Tokon on PS5 against only PS5 players and had a wonderful time. Even with 3 bars, 100 plus MS, matches were smooth, just going to stay away from the PC version completely until things get figured out. So that's kind of what he said after he uninstalled the game. But I guess the actions of uninstalling the game echoed louder than him switching over to PS5 ever did. But he's clarified later on Twitter, and I guess this was after he's seen my video because that video got a lot of views. But he says, despite what you're reading, no, I didn't stop playing Tokon after uninstalling the PC version. And that's where I think the translation got a little bit of loss, because I see even in my comment section, people just started to read the title and they just started to like not even like actually watch the video. One, this is why I wanted to open up with this conversation, and then two, this is why I wanted to revisit the conversation, because he is in fact still playing the game and he hasn't given up, just like a lot of other people. To continue reading the tweet, it says, in fact, I'm having a great time with it on PS5. All I want to do is keep playing. The PC version got an update and I hope it's made improvements. And he says, but this was me after 4 hours of ranked on console. Now we'll go ahead and play the clip that he has attached with this tweet in just a second, but I do want to highlight how that update that they did on PC, while it did make a lot of improvements and a lot of people are happy, I am still starting to see some people who aren't truly satisfied with it, and there's a couple of more things that needs to be addressed. Now the developers, they probably will address that in a future update. There is no current time frame on it just yet. Like for example, I've seen Sajam saying, so far I'm still having a tough time on PC for Tokon. My experience today was waiting 10 minutes or so for a match, and 50% of them were really laggy because of performance issues. I'm not on PC, but I'm still having a very long wait time for matches. And I don't know if it's anybody else, but when I look around, I don't see many people talking about that on PC or PlayStation. And I don't know if it's something that I'm doing wrong, or if I don't know if my settings are set wrong. I looked at like the regions and the connections and everything seemed to be fine, but it takes me a long time to find matches. So if they can fix that, it will be really good, because the only workaround I've been able to come up with is going to the lounge, going to the lobby area and connecting with people directly. But here we have the clip here that was linked with Maximilian's tweet, and I'll go ahead and let it play.
Super! Wow, he was running at me to grab from that far. All right, we were making him desperate.
No more. Winner!
All right, we did it again. Ranked up a second time, chat. I feel great. Jesus, dude. So at least we can kind of play the game, right? I'm like, man, maybe I'm just fuck awful at this, but in good net play, okay, no, I can kind of play.
So that was a clip that he shared to Twitter. As you can see that he's having a good time as long as the connection is stable. I do want to read the update on Twitter that was posted because of this conversation. It says Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls launched to critical acclaim on consoles. The 4v4 fighter earned an 87 on Metacritic score, with the IGN awarding it a 9 out of 10 for its polished mechanics, deep tutorials, stunning visuals, and robust single-player mode. PS5 delivers smooth, accessible fun for newcomers and pros alike, while PC struggles with long queues, lag, stutters, and crashes, pushing Steam reviews into mixed territory. Developers are prepping patches, and the game Creative Assist and Tag have the fighting game community sharing guides and breakdowns. Now, I also want to talk about another aspect of the conversation, which I think is really important. And this is basically the players are starting to dive into a little bit more metagame discussions, talking about what kind of stages should be banned, talking about what kind of characters are good, bad, etc. So I'll go ahead and start here with a tweet. This conversation is kicked off by Nitro, and then SonicFox joins in. But Nitro says, I want to get the stages with no transitions banned in future. Hopefully we get some rule on that. And SonicFox says, worst stages in the game easily. Now, when you're doing combos in this game, there's a lot of wall breaks, and at times those wall breaks allow for combos to be shorter because when you break the combo in, but when you splat against the wall on like a no transition, you could kind of do an extended combo. And I'm pretty sure these pro players, they're able to do something crazy there, and it's really changes the type of game, and it really changes what it means to be, backed into a corner. As for whether or not tournament organizers will make a rule to say that those stages are banned, I think it's far too early for that to even happen. But if the pro players all speak out unanimously against no transition stages, then, I think fine, make it a rule. I do wonder though if that will hurt the variety that you're seeing as a spectator, or will it be perfectly fine? Another notable name, TSM's Leffen, says the character design in Tokon is so sick, but the awful tuning of defensive mechanics, assist, and active tag really don't let them shine as bright as they should in my opinion. I hope this is more of a first draft of the game and not the final form that will stay like Street Fighter 6. And this is an important thing, right? Even though you're starting to see all of these guys have their takes on the game and ask for things to be changed and moved, the reason why I want to step in these guys' way and say, hey, no, don't do that, don't do this, is because like we see with other fighting games like Street Fighter and Tekken, if you wait 1 to 2 years, the developers will say we're too deep into the lifespan to change it, right? That's literally the answer we were given from Tekken, is that they're not going to address any of the heat, any of the this, like they'll tweak it, they'll nerf it a little bit, but as for like overall changing, removing it, they're not going to do that because they're 2-3 years in. And Street Fighter kind of feels the same way with their throw loop situation. So the pro players speaking out so quickly, I think it's for the better, honestly. This will give the developers more information, whether it's a hot take, whether it's actual facts, and then they could decide whether or not they want to take action and change the direction of the game really quickly. I see a lot of players talking about the defensive elements of the game, the tag elements of the game. And one, it's important to scrutinize these takes and make sure it's not just some crazy kind of bias, or make sure they're not trying to compare it to a different game. Say like, oh, I want this game to feel like Street Fighter, or I want this game to feel like Fighter Z. It is important that there's not too much of that going on. As for like actual good feedback, I think we definitely need a lot of that. And another example of this would be Punk the God. This person has also been playing Tokon and been having a fun time doing so. There is a little bit of criticisms that kind of everyone has, but as for Punk the God, this is what he says. I hope Tokon changes a bit. The game is super fun, but it's super scrubby with 4 assists cooldown time pretty much non-existent. I think EX overheads should be either removed or should be safe, or plus on block kind of just makes no sense. And there's so many times so much stuff is on the screen, I just completely lose vision of where the point character even is. Now, this is something that I was also struggling with as well, but obviously my skill level is nowhere near these guys. So I was just assuming like it's a me issue, it's a skill issue, it's my problem. But to see that these guys are kind of also losing track of which character is actually in the fight and which one is just attacks, I think this is probably a wider issue that's impacting a lot of people. And then maybe they can figure out a way to make it just a little bit more visually clear. But then also when you talk about the cooldown assist tagging in a lot, once again, I'm not on these guys' level, but how often do you want the tag ins developers to be coming in to play versus how often you want it to feel kind of like a one-on-one style game. These are all just questions that the developers will tackle, they will address, and as we get more into the game and we start to see balance and stuff like that, I'm sure they'll have answers. Lastly, I want to show you guys this screenshot of all of the top players, well, not all, but most of the top players that will be participating at CEO. You know, there was a lot of people who were very up in the air about whether or not they would go because of the PC issues, the region locks, etc. But when you look at this list here, it's some pretty good names. You can see Yipes, you can see SonicFox, you can see Hyde, you can see Hakar, you can see a lot of names on this list. And I'm sure there will be so many others who are participating in this game. At CEO, it's going to be a big game. I think it's going to be even bigger than Tokon 8. That's usually how these games are when they release. A lot of people want to try it out, and the fact that they were able to get these issues under control within a week of the game being out, that means more people have time to practice, more people can actually commit to doing it, and then people can show up and have a good time at the tournament. Like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and bye bye.